Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of our Reddit stories. Today we're doing it a little bit different. These are all going to be coming from Arcs in Australia, you know, our beautiful land down under. So we've already come across some pretty funny ones. So it's not as serious or anything as am I the arsehole or off my chest or anything like that. These are just little funny Reddits that we thought, you know.
Maybe we'll go around, don't we?
Yeah. So we thought, you know, being Australians ourselves, it might be a little bit of a fun one to do for you. So here we go. The first one, as I said, they're all from Asking Australians. So the first one is built like a brick shithouse. I'm in a discussion about the phrase built like a brick shithouse on another sub, and Americans are saying it's primarily used to refer to women who are stacked. If you heard someone described as built like a brick shithouse and there were no other clues to gender, would you assume they were a large man or stacked woman? Can it mean either in Australia? All right, well, to me,
Usually
it's either. It's when you're built.
Yeah, I was going to say it's when you're built, but the sort of thing.
It's usually with the muscles and
big people like that, you know, can take on quite a bit without even moving.
yeah,
It really
much.
is. It's kind of what it
That's
describes.
For us, yeah.
It always has been ever since I was a kid. If you heard someone say built like a brick shithouse, straight out, you meant that they were tough.
Yeah,
It
well,
doesn't
that's
matter
it.
if they're male or female. It meant that person is tough. So you straight away, Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, you can say he was maybe not quite as much anymore, but back in his day, he was built like a brick shithouse, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, that's it.
So
and, you know,
it's. I don't know what the argument could possibly be because there's really only.
I think he just wants to know people's opinions of what they believe it means. And supposedly in America, people are probably saying it's when a woman is stacked. Down here, for us, it's when anyone is like got their muscles and they're just built. You know?
Yeah, I don't.
So,
Maybe
yeah,
they're just
all
behind
right.
the times. I don't know.
Let's see. All right. Okay. Andre the Giant was built like a brick shit house. I wouldn't say the same about Dolly Parton. Wow. Yeah, I can see that. And someone's like, correct. The term isn't typically attributed to women, which
No.
exactly it's not, is it?
Well, I think where we may have a bit of a problem here already is stacked. I always thought with women meant about their chest area, nothing to do with muscles.
Well,
So
that's what we use. Yeah.
so there goes the whole built like a brick shithouse and stacked are two different things anyway.
Yeah, well, that's it. Well, someone said the alternative to this is being built like a shit brick house. I haven't heard that one.
No, that's a new one to me.
Yeah, that one is. All right, some more comments. I'd assume a solid built man.
Yep.
Someone's like, definitely this. It's a description of immovability, not a phrase I'd consider being applied to a buxom woman. The only way I would see it being applied to a woman would be if she were perhaps a competitive weightlifter or some sort of similar power athlete. Well built could well be used as you're thinking, a stacked woman or muscular guy, but the like a brick shit house implies that solidness. And a couple of comments to that. My go-to example is rugby league front rowers. The brick with eyes, aka Glenn Lazarus. Who's that?
But I don't know, it's got me that one.
Exactly who I thought of, but wonder if the kids might not remember him.
That's probably why I don't know.
Yeah, we're not that young, but maybe, I don't know. Let's see if we can find some funnier comments, hey? I had a female boss like that years ago in one of my first hospo jobs. Was literally built like a brick shit house and would effortlessly throw 20-kilo bags of potatoes around the kitchen. Made a big impression on me as a skinny teen just out of high school, and someone replied, when I was a gangly 16-year-old, I challenged my mum to an arm wrestle. She beat me effortlessly. She had spent her adult working life doing night fills at Woolies. Never underestimate middle-aged women with labour-intensive jobs. More inclined to think The person was referring to a very solid built bloke. I have never heard anyone use this expression to describe a woman regardless of size or stature. I always thought it was
Both.
both, yeah.
No, that's what I said. You know, I always thought it was, more towards blokes, but I thought stacked was
Yeah.
a little bit more on the
Other
sexual
side.
side of it. You know,
Which
it's a
is
different
not
thing.
the way we think, but that's the way we learn.
I swear I've heard people say when a woman's stacked, it's nothing to do with muscles.
Yeah.
So,
Someone's like, I have, it was not a term of endearment. Chick was a tank. Okay. I have described a friend this way, but she played women's rugby league as the top level as a prop. Time and a place, I guess. Yeah. Broad, muscular, probably tall. Not strictly male, but more men tend to fit the description than women, which is true.
Yeah.
I've heard my mum described as this, and she's a squat lady with a barrel chest and big shoulders, not large-breasted. So
there you go.
Yeah,
So we know what it means now, that's for sure. I think it's been confirmed. It means built like a brick shit house.
Well,
It can be interpreted slightly different. You don't have to be tall.
Well, another interpretation. It's a big, wide person, gender irrelevant, but used more commonly for men. Definitely never heard used for women's breasts. So not everyone has heard it in that sense. And one thing as a POM I found in Australia, the word shithouse used by itself means something going wrong, usually terrible organisation. Yeah. How was the job on Saturday? Shithouse.
Yep.
They didn't order the correct material, so I couldn't do anything. In the UK, I never heard it used that way, and the only time I ever heard shithouse was in the phrase "built like a brick shithouse" to mean a very muscular, powerfully built person / animal. There was some confusion with the word gone from a positive thing to a negative thing. So there's another perspective from a different country. They heard it our way, but in Australia, they usually hear it as things are going shithouse. So they always thought Australia, it meant a different thing, yeah.
It's often referred to something looking bad, going bad, just straight up being bad. But then built like a brick shithouse is a positive.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
But, I mean, I've seen it everywhere about the Australian language and how odd it is. You know, it really is.
It is.
And when you hear people talking about, America versus Australia, or the British and Australia, you go, we really are different. We're definitely different.
One last comment, and then we can move on. But this actually, I think he's looked up that. I don't know if he's looked up the actual meaning of it, but a brick shithouse in brackets noun is sturdy, well built, and hard to knock down buildings compared to the more commonly built wooden built outside toilets. This is why you would say this about a large, strongly built person. Work being shithouse means uncomfortable or annoying or unpleasant as you would think it would be. Spending time in a smelly outside toilet. There you go. All right.
No, I was already thinking of that. And I already knew the term of brick shithouse versus a little wooden thing is going to fall apart.
Which we don't have anymore. I think we have better toilets now. There's still some.
I reckon out in the middle of nowhere, unless they've replaced them, there's possibly still one here and there.
It doesn't work anymore, but where my parents live, they live out on an orchard. There is actually at the back an old wooden run-down toilet. Still got the toilet in. It's just a little wooden box, pretty much. Like,
yeah, but that's 100 years old.
Oh, yeah.
That's a different
it's very
thing
old.
altogether.
But yeah, so they're still there.
Yeah, they're around.
Anyway, all right, let's see what else we can find.
I reckon.
Our next one is, do balloons really pop when they touch grass in Australia?
Yes, because it's made out of steely spikes.
Seriously, like, are we the only grass that is spiky or something? Anyway.
Well, we do have grass. I'm going to say it right now that even in Queensland, what they call a bindi is what we call a burr because they're flat and round. A bindi down here has...
But that's not grass.
No, it's a seed for it, but there's like spikes. You stand on them bare feet and they stick to you. It hurts.
All right, let's get to what they want to know. I was watching the Keepy Uppy episode of Bluey with my kid, and the mum said, Balloons pop when they touch grass, which is not something that happens here. So I thought it was a joke. Then it does pop when it hits grass.
Okay. That's a cartoon, right? It's Bluey.
Yeah.
I've seen the tiniest bits and pieces when people have got their kids watching it. I've never watched an episode because I don't find it that good for my kids. Yes, it's Australian and that's awesome, but there's a couple of things I've seen it.
Anyway, it's not about Bluey, I guess.
Anyway, we'll skip the Bluey part and we'll just talk about the grass because I think that's hilarious.
I think that grass in any country could pop or not pop a balloon.
Yeah, it has to land on a tiny little stick in the grass you didn't see, and you can see the grass popped it.
I thought it was a joke, but then it does pop when it hits grass, so she obviously knows it pops when it...
It's... I don't know.
Alright, let's just get to some comments, okay?
Yes, please.
TAL, today I learned grass in other countries does not pop balloons! Exclamation mark.
Yes.
And someone's like, yep, me too. I wonder which country OP is from. Is it only Australian grass that pops them? Mind blown. The amount of times we've been to parties and our kids have been able to keep the balloons and they've come home and then they've let go of them before we got in the house and next minute, pop. But I think it would happen everywhere.
Yeah, I would have thought so, but apparently not.
The one part I could not deal with is the tears.
Yeah.
It's a balloon. But
my balloon pop. Yeah, I know. And we told you it's going to pop.
We told you to hold on to it.
Yeah.
But anyway, there are many varieties of grass, even within Australia, and many more around the world. Schools and parks use an especially hardy and spiky variety because it can handle trampling better. I've seen some people use it as their homes too, which is wild to me. But I assume they're the same people who eat ketchup on pasta because it's all tomato sauce. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Australians will also use varieties of grass which requires less water, drought tolerant, given some varieties that dry, scratchy feeling. My family had a type of grass on their front lawn that left my feet feeling exfoliated after I ran on it barefoot. It didn't hurt, but definitely wasn't as pleasant to step on when than the softer varieties. It was super thick and spongy, kind of like a spiky sponge. Water didn't make it any softer, and yes, it definitely popped balloons every time. Someone's comment, my old house had a bit of a hill at the front that I used to roll down when I was a kid. When it was dry, I'd end up with a bunch of cuts all over. Well, you'd think he would have learnt that, or she, after the first time, but...
Yeah, but depends on how old they were at the time.
And someone commented because of the person that said it's the same people that, even though it's off topic, it's the same person that put tomato sauce, on pasta and whatnot. Someone's like, ketchup, question mark, because they must have had it there first. And someone's like, I wrote tomato sauce, but realised people might think I meant Napolitana pasta sauce. Then I was going to write dead horse, but realised that might cause a whole other kind of confusion. How many times did we hear that growing up for tomato sauce?
Just for the people overseas, dead horse is
tomato
from
sauce.
Somewhere.
I don't even know where it came from.
No, it just means tomato sauce. I honestly do not know where the hell that's saying.
No, we just...
Oh, you got some dead horse? You know straight away someone...
It's tomato sauce, and yes, you know it as ketchup, but then we do sell ketchup here as well, which is actually a different taste. People don't realize, a lot of people don't realize that. People think ketchup is American or whatever, saying is tomato sauce, our tomato sauce, but someone's like...
Ketchup's a bit thicker and it's not quite as sweet. That's all it is.
Yeah, and someone's right, I appreciate your level of thought here, mate, and the laugh.
Yeah. That'll start an argument probably in the comments now.
And then,
dead horse.
I know this is nothing to do with the grass, but these comments are quite funny. Oh my god, this is giving me flashbacks to dinner at my neighbours growing up. They ate pasta this way. They would cook the mince, rinse it thoroughly. Why though? No onions or garlic because they were strong flavours for kids apparently. Add in Heinz tomato sauce and plop. The now vaguely warm, kind of wet, sloppy on top of overcooked black and gold spaghetti. Black and Gold is a home brand here in Australia, if you didn't know. The daughter daughter was vegetable, so she just got the tomato sauce and a single piece of boiled into oblivious broccoli. So
I
she,
think it's not vegetable. I think it's meant to be vegetarian.
It does say vegetable, I know. I was shocked, but far too polite to do anything but eat it and pretend I loved it. My mother had raised me with manners, damn it. I told my mum about the incident and she just replied, "That's not a thing. People don't eat like that." Yeah, Mum, hold on to your blissful ignorance. Eating Nonna's homemade passata, there are literal degenerates out there. I have lived the horror. I have stared into the face of oblivion. Passata, oh, it wasn't pasta. Passata is a
I
lot.
was about to ask
Really.
Passata, is it actually something?
We've got it in the cupboard. Actually, it's actually really crushed up fine tomatoes. I think in a jar.
That answers one question. The other question was, did he say, or did they say, they rinsed?
Yep.
The meat.
No, the pasta.
I thought he said rinse the mince.
They would cook the mince and rinse it. Oh, sorry, I'm wrong. And rinse it thoroughly. What the actual?
How? Because rinsing mince is something you got to be careful with anyway. Because if you don't cook it properly, you can be eating absolutely completely red meat.
I know this is completely off topic, but oh my god,
this is going somewhere else now. This story is going to keep changing. Aussies.
Someone's like, they would cook the mince, rinse it thoroughly. This bit gets me, like taking cooked mince out of the grease and running it under the tap. Anyway, back to the subject, okay?
Oh, please do.
My uncle has this kind of grass we call angel hair grass. It's super soft and lovely. I walk barefoot almost everywhere, so I feel everything I step on, and to me, his grass is bliss. In Victoria, where I am, that's where we are too.
Mm-hmm.
Most people use buffalo grass, do they?
Yeah.
You'd know more about grass. You're known for living...
Buffalo grass. Yes. It's slightly hardy.
Which is a nice and hardy grass that forms very thick, strong tendrils under the soil that spreads fast and sprouts the grass. It makes it a very hardy species, but needs lots of attention to maintain. My neighbours have it, and it always burrows under the fence and starts overtaking my backyard. I have chickens, and they keep the grass well maintained. The buffalo grass has colonised about 1/3 of my yard now. It's okay. I don't mind it. I would prefer to have more native long grasses, but my chickens eat everything before it grows enough. They're okay. I love them, and they live their best life. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, I assume grass is grass.
But buffalo...
I might be a bit ignorant on that, but I'd assume that every country would have a sort of grass that could pop a bloom.
More than likely. I reckon. But, I mean, buffalo grass is good.
Oh, God.
In a lot of cases, especially the drier areas, if you can get it to grow, beautiful, because it does hang on. Yeah. But for someone that mows grass for a living, it is rather quite annoying because it chews a cord on your whippersnipper, line trimmer, whatever you want to. It's about 5 words for a whippersnipper. It can be quite annoying. So, yeah.
There you go. Here's a couple of quick fire comments. I mean, yeah, usually. Does your grass not have pokey bits? And someone got bindi season. We know that.
Yeah.
And then someone's rest of the world. Stepping on Lego is the worst. Australia. Have you ever stepped on one of these? Sorry, mind my language.
Yeah, I got to agree.
Lego's at least 3/4 jacks are brutal. Devil thorns. They literally have laughing devil faces on them. Yep. So I don't know if you have ever seen bindies, but yeah, they're not nice.
If you want to Google it, look up bindi eye and you'll get the correct. Because bindi could mean something somewhere else, but bindi eye, I don't know how to spell it.
That could mean Bindi Owen.
Yeah, well, who knows?
Anyway, at the end of the day, this person decided that because of a Bluey episode she watched, she believed that all blooms pop on grass in Australia. But anyway,
not the case, but it is a high possibility.
And I'm assuming all over the world it can happen.
I think so.
So
I think
anyway,
we can just agree on that and
let's get to the next one.
We can leave Bluey alone.
A bloody laugh.
Yeah.
All right. Let's
go to the next one.
All right, so on to our next story, but I thought maybe you could read this one.
I'll give it a shot.
All right.
I apologise for my reading. I'm not very good at it. Okay. Once again, asking Australian. Why is there no sporting teams called the Drop Bears? That's it. It's just the title. There is no... Well, nothing.
That's a bit of a hard one. I guess I've grown up hearing the legends about them drop bears, and
there's been ads about them.
People are scaring you. There was a alcohol ad about it, wasn't it? Bundaberg?
Yes, I think it was. I was thinking the same thing. I wasn't going to say who it was, but and the two women, French women.
Oh, I don't know.
I think it was, and they were in Queensland, and a couple of blokes called them over to they were camping. They called them over to their tents because they're like, you got to watch out for the drop bears.
Oh yes, I do remember that one.
It was a good ad. I think they did a couple of ads very similar about drop bears. It was quite good.
But do you know what? It is a good question because we've had our AFL team. They're not anymore. They're Brisbane Lions now, but they used to be called Brisbane Bears. Oh, going back
that's a long time ago.
That is a long time ago.
That was probably before we were born.
No. I do remember because I went for them for a while. So it was when we were young.
You went for Brisbane?
Only because I still went for St Kilda, but we lived in Queensland for a couple of not even a year. So I'm like, I wanted to support them. So I know we had them back then. I was actually devastated when they changed to Brisbane Lions and merged the two teams.
Yeah.
Because what was the other one? Fitzroy or something? No.
Fitzroy. I think they were a team at the time.
And they merged.
Yeah.
But it is actually an interesting question because this legend has been around
for a long time.
Growing up, I go camping all the time, and my dad, and my brothers used to scare us with it.
It's more of a legend.
But do you know what? I actually technically came across a drop bear once.
What, a koala that fell out of the tree?
It did. It fell out of the tree. We were out camping, and all of a sudden we all.
But that's not uncommon. Sometimes they lose their grip and they just fall.
But no, the branch and all came down. We heard this big mighty bang, and we looked, and in the back of the ute was this koala, and it got really dazed, and it was like, you know, we stayed away from it, and all of a sudden it just got out and shot back up that tree.
I have heard other stories of people said, they've seen a koala fallen from the tree, and I think that's where it all comes from. Is sometimes a koala is asleep and it loses its grip and it falls out of the tree, so it's a drop bear. Honestly, on the comments, you know, we don't joke about drop bears. Well, we do.
I know
we do joke. And on to that was same reason we don't have emu names. Lost a war to them, which that's pretty much true. Actually, it was wild emus, and that's a long story on its own. But there's a few stories. Not a what was said that was in your interest really, but it was pretty much.
I actually looked it up a while back what drop bears were, and I always thought it was just when droppings came out of a tree, people being smart. For some reason, I was told that, but it's actually a carnivorous version and a man-eating type version, like a scary version of the koala.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's. I pretty much. I wouldn't be surprised if it was simply from people camping, heard koalas or whatever in trees, and gone, the drop bears, and that's just as simple as that. That's where it started.
Do you know what? We'll make sure we drop a picture in of what they believe a drop bear is. We'll put a picture up.
One of them will be. One of them will be a white bear thing because it'll be from the logo from Bundaberg. That'll be pretty much it.
I'll make sure we put a photo up so people know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But no, in reality, they're not real. They're just there to scare tourists and people that come to Australia, really, isn't it?
Well, just read a comment, and I don't know if you'll even know where this comes from. I'd prefer to see a team called the Bin Chickens.
Yes, I heard something about that.
It's the it's getting me seagulls. Not seagulls.
Yeah,
seagulls.
Seagull type of creatures, yeah.
Seagulls, they come at you if you throw chips out in the middle of nowhere at a park or something down near the ocean. Seagulls come from nowhere and they take it all.
Isn't it also there's some what are they called? We get them down here. And they go through your bin. They've got this big long nose beak thing.
No.
I thought they were
I know what you're thinking of, but they're not the same thing. Bin chickens are different things.
But what is it? I reckon I read somewhere that there is a drop bear team, but it's a fantasy team.
Yeah, I
It's a
think so.
Quidditch team.
Quidditch team, yeah, well, that wouldn't surprise
I've
me.
read it up
Something
one
like that,
day.
but there's not going to be an AFL team or anything like that.
I'd love there to be one.
It'd be funny. It would be funny, but I think they wouldn't do it simply because everyone would get a laugh. They'd just laugh at them.
Yeah.
It'd take years for them to actually take them serious.
Anyway, not much more.
Oh, here you go. This is interesting. There is. It's a Queensland ice hockey team. Now, whether that's true or not. Whether that's true or not.
We don't live in Queensland, but yeah.
No, but we don't watch ice hockey either in Australia because ice hockey's next to nowhere because it's too hot. It's as simple as that. It's just too hot to have ice everywhere.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, the last, few weeks we've had some frozen mornings, but not enough to freeze a lake.
No.
Someone, because it's lame.
I don't think it's lame.
Another person, the whole thing with a few extra words added to it. Yeah, I'd imagine there's a few local touch footy teams called the Drop Bears.
Yeah, there might be.
Another person, ice hockey team for Brisbane.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
There is
Maybe
some ice hockey around.
Yeah.
But I know in areas, we actually had a makeshift for a school holidays one day down here, so it was summer, I think, too. And they actually had a makeshift tent and an ice hockey rink for kids to go and play in. So it can have, they've got ways of doing it, but
they do it,
and
they do that.
Have the rink. Well, they've got an ice skating rink in Melbourne. I took my daughter there once, years ago. So they do have them.
They do. It's just, I think it comes to the point of how much it costs for someone to run it, or the country to run it.
Anyway, a bit off topic there,
a bit off topic. That Canadian skydiving team is another one.
That's not Australian.
No, I was wondering that when I read it, but
anyway.
Maybe there is a Canadian skydiving team called Drop Bears. I mean, when you think about it, skydiving and Drop Bears sort of makes sense because you're falling.
Anyway.
I don't even know how to say that word. An Aussie baseball team that plays against the Savannah Bananas. I think that's a bit of a joke.
A bit of a...
I think that's a bit of a stretch. I don't know. Maybe there is.
Yeah, we're not a big sport. Our kids play sports and we like sports, but it's mainly football, netball. So we're not big on
sports.
You know,
that would be funny if one of our girls was playing a sport for
the Drop Bears.
The Drop Bears. Actually, I'd enjoy that. I'd try and get some stuff made up called the Drop Bears because I think that'd be funny.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, there's our next dart team name.
The Drop Bears. Don't tempt me. You know, man. The names. How many teams have I made up now? About 3. We get new players, and so I change the name because it doesn't work anymore for the old players. And the new players, well, they want to keep the name, so it's like, okay, well, I'll come up with a new name.
Anyway,
to avoid confusing tourists. Well, that's a good idea. You don't want to confuse them with the real thing.
Anyway,
yeah.
Yeah,
wow. The Drop Bears, eh?
Alright, well...
Go to the next. This one's interesting, and we have... Can't be negative about it. I can't be anyway. It's how are Americans treated in Oz? Well, to me, I've met Americans in Australia, and I've treated them just like I would an Australian.
I'm guessing that.
For someone from just about anywhere, they're another person to me.
That's it. I've got no problem. But we thought this would be a bit of a funny one, you know, hopefully, some of the comments more.
You treat people how you want to be treated.
Well, that's it.
It is a little bit different. Sometimes people from different nationalities don't understand, especially we've read about the Australian language a little bit. It is different. And they may take it the wrong way. And if you can see how people are taking it and it doesn't look good, you might have to explain it to them. I'm not insulting you, I'm actually praising you, which
even if we're both talking English, it's still a different...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, there's more than 3, but there's 3 main countries. You know, you got England, America, and Australia. We speak English. But all 3 of them are different. So, and they've got different words for the same item.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
There's actually a comedian I've watched a few times who talks about, he's from England, and he talks about the difference between America and England, just the little things that, and you go, it's funny to me, but I've usually got a pretty good sense of humour when it comes down to that stuff, especially when it's a comedian saying it, because they know how to word it properly, and I'm not a comedian. Anyway, so how are Americans treated in Australia? Well,
Because that's all that's there. Might as well get straight to the comments.
The comments, I'm trying to forget. Some of these might be a little bit insulting, actually, so I apologise to our American viewers because, yeah, I mean, some people, I mean, they've probably all been smart asses.
Bit of a laugh, yeah.
They're just being smart, and you know what, they may very well have friends and family that live over in America, so they're just roasting them, so
and hey, I don't mind if you pick on us back. I can take it. I can take it. We can take it.
Some of the stuff I've seen people, you know, look at spiders. You know, spiders and snakes. Australia is the deadliest place in the world, which probably pretty close to, but honestly, it's not as bad as people make out. This is barbecue sauce for 12 hours, a coat of mixed spices, followed by a slow cook for 6 hours, then a quick roast on medium flame for a crisp exterior.
What the?
That's
come on.
That's pretty harsh.
I think you can tell it's a joke.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like how they treat it,
joke.
like how they,
depending on which part of the US they're from. Sometimes their livers pair well with a nice shinade and fava beans.
So they've just commented back to that person.
Just comment back. That is some long pork that you'll never be able to make appetizing. Never say never. Okay. Well, okay. Sounds delicious. So these people, they're pretty commenting, but they're pretty much roasting the Americans for just the hell of it. They're not.
It's nothing serious. It's just a bit of banter. Like I said, leave a comment if you want, and throw us some roasts back.
Well, the next one was, can we remove this now, please, before it becomes the most popular question of the week? And then after that, let's just start a really careful debate that initially says there will be a fine but will descend in brutal seppo bashing. Tipping will be mentioned. Oh, God, tipping.
Oh, God.
Well, you know what the difference is in Australia. As Australian and American, servers, you know, they don't get paid much over there, but they get good tips, whereas here, you get paid your wages.
Got paid and got good tips.
Yeah, well.
And I'd go and work there, you know.
They don't get paid much, but they go on their tips. So the better you do on your job over there, probably the more money you're going to make than over here, but over here it's an hourly rate, so it's different. And OP said, tipping in the US is getting out of hand. Now Subways has a tip option. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, anyway. I mean, you could read, it's like an Reddit story, you can read the comments for hours because people just have nothing else to do sometimes.
We apologise if this does offend anyone. We just thought it would be a bit of a laugh, and like I said, leave a comment and roast us back. We've got no problem with it.
We're pretty good. We're pretty easy.
We're pretty laid back.
Yeah. Some of these, I mean, most of these are probably Aussies. If I read for long enough, I mean, I just had a quick look and I saw removed. So someone's probably said the wrong thing, gone too far with God knows what.
Every country has said different quirks, flaws, fun, everything, you know.
The stuff I see on social media now about different countries and that, you just go...
Yeah.
Sometimes I think people just got to be a little more
Do you know what? I'd love to visit America. I reckon it'll be cool going around to, New York and Los Angeles and just Washington and...
Yeah, you know, I think New York's very busy. What do they call it? The 24-hour city, or what do they call it?
Las Vegas, I'd love to go to. You know, I'd love to visit it.
Vegas would be something different. Problem is, I'd lose every cent I've got. So
probably.
I think LA would be something different.
Chicago, even San Francisco. Yeah. You know, all them big cities you always hear about and you see.
Let's see the Golden Gate Bridge would be something to see in person instead of just on TV.
So if anyone wants to, you know, shout us for a trip to America.
There's 7 of us in total. So, you know, just be careful of that. That's going to cost a bit. I'm not sure.
Kids want.
Yeah. It's not so much they want, but I don't think...
They will want being over in a different country.
I don't think we have enough family members to look after 7 kids in total for that long.
They'll have to come with us, damn it.
Don't worry. 18 years to go and we'll be right.
Oh, yeah, well...
Right. We might just go on to the next Reddit because, unfortunately, there's no updates and it was 72 comments or something and we'll just find it.
Let's go.
Just curious, do you guys also call your girls/wives as mate? yeah, just going by that.
To be a smartass, you could say,
Depending on the situation.
whatever, mate. You know, just to piss them off or something. But
I don't think I've really ever called you mate.
No,
in nearly
I
10
don't
years,
reckon you have.
I've had other women say, yeah, mate, whatever, and you go, yeah, whatever, mate.
It's a friend thing, not a girlfriend, partner, wife, whatever thing.
The partner thing, no,
it's a
your
friend
husband
thing.
or
Hey,
wife.
mate, how are you going, you know?
It's your wife or your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Mate is more a friend thing, not a partner thing.
Well,
so,
that's what I see it as.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, we'll get into it. We're currently watching an Australian series, Colin from Accounting.
Okay, never heard of that.
Nope. And we noticed that the main male character refers to his female acquaintance as mate. Is this common or just in the series for this character?
Well, if they were friends, I don't know if they're together or friends. He's just said acquaintance. If they're just friends, but not maybe. But do you know what I could commonly hear, mate? Male to male.
Oh, that's an everyday event.
I don't hear females say
tonight. I said it 20 times, or I wasn't at home when I was down throwing darts. Hey mate, how you going? It's the first thing. It's just such an Australian thing to just.
But you don't hear the
rolls
female
off the tongue.
people. Yeah.
But
it's more common with the men, I think.
Yeah, and when you're talking to the girls, you go, hey, how you going? Some blokes will say, hey, honey, how you going? But they're not saying it in a sexual way. They're just, hey, honey. They're being polite.
Hey, hun, or
they're being.
Hey, doll.
Dolls, another one.
I have a brother-in-law that says doll a lot, you know?
Yeah, it's a bit of, doll's probably a little bit older, and now it's hun, I think, more so, but it's still 50-50.
My father used to call my mum darling all the time. That was going back, you know, back in that generation. So,
It's still out there, and, I mean, this TV series, or whatever it was, series,
I've never heard of it.
Colin from Accounting, I don't even think I've heard of it. But if you're saying, using an acquaintance as mate, for all we know, he's leaving an office and saying, "I'll see you tomorrow, mate."
Yeah,
that's morning, mate. That's different. If he's not calling her mate all through the show, as using her name, like
they're saying girlfriend wife on this, but it just says acquaintance in the comment.
But that
in
might
the question, in the whole thing.
The question is, do you call your girlfriend or wife mate?
No.
Even though the TV series might be just an acquaintance.
Yeah.
Do you also use it?
You know, a lot of tom girls and
they'll say it.
Possibly even girl relationships. I'm not sure.
Well, that's a bit hard for us to understand. Even guy relationships, I don't know if they.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Will say.
You know,
mate, or if they say,
oh
God knows what else.
But tomboys or men, it's a lot common in like workplaces like brickies and labourers and plumbers and
it doesn't even have
it's
to be
not
that.
as big in the office setting.
No, it's more in the
mates,
tradie,
actual mates.
It's the tradie industry,
that's what I was trying to get
at. It's in a lot of countries, it's not so much tradie, it's the trade industry, which, yes, is plumbers, builders, electricians, that area is the trade industry, so to speak. I've actually seen on Reddit, people go, why do you call them tradies? And honestly, I don't know why. It's just one of our abbreviations. I think it's just a friendly way of calling someone that is probably working relatively hard out in the heat or whatever.
Yeah, that's
call them a tradie. We'll get into some comments. And the first one, only when we're disagreeing on something, I'll call her mate.
Oh, that really, and that's what it will probably piss her off too. That really will cement
I was going to say, if you're having a disagreement, you say, "Oh, what do you say, mate?" You're sort of saying it in an insulting way.
You're sort of trying to piss them off,
Yeah, you are. You're actually trying to disagree with them more so and annoy them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the next day, hopefully most relationships, it doesn't matter, but quite often, you're having a disagreement, you say, whatever, mate, and you walk out of the room and just call it that, and hopefully
the next day it's over.
Next day or even in 10 minutes.
I was going to say, I always was taught for a happy and healthy relationship, never go to bed annoyed and angry with each other. Work it out before you go to bed.
Oh, yeah, plenty of doctors and, I don't know, I've never met a psychologist, I don't think, but I'm guaranteeing they'll probably say the same thing.
Never go to bed.
You go to bed with an argument with each other, you go to sleep, you're probably going to wake up still feeling that way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a completely different thing. Anyway, comment on that was, listen, mate, accurate. Someone else, I legit said this to my hubby today when he pissed me off. But when women say it to blokes, like in a relationship, it's not as bad. For some reason, blokes just seem to take it as a friendship sort of thing, even if it is their partner that says it. So, but I think it's getting to the point where if a bloke says it to his partner, or a female partner, I should say, it's becoming more the norm. But even just a couple of years ago, you didn't really call any female mate, because if you go back long enough, mate was the term used for a sexual partner.
You know, it's just
more so.
It's just the same as, I don't know, and I've never called you this, and I never will, when people call their partner babe. Babe's a pig.
Well, it was. It's baking in my fridge now. Anyway.
But seriously, sorry if we offended.
I'm not trying to offend anyone, but when you think about it, babe was made a long time ago.
I hate the word babe. I have never called you it, and I don't know why people...
And then what's the other word that came out? Oh.
Or bae. I don't like that
that's where I was going.
Yeah,
bae. For some reason, and I'm not trying to insult anybody that uses it, because some people can say it and it's natural. It's just me personally, I'm not big on it.
Me neither.
But I've heard people say it, and I've seen it on TV and shows, movies and stuff, and you go, oh, whatever, you don't think of it. Me personally, I'm not a big fan. My sister
calls her husband babe all the time. I'm like, oh my God. But anyway, that's them.
Another one running off the same comment was, oh, hello, mate. I just like this phrase. And that's me too. Like when I go out and say, hey, mate, how's it going? Hey, mate is just like, instead of using their name, you're using the word mate.
Or is it just because you forget each other's names because you've got bad memory, so you just say mate to just cover it up?
Oh, look, you tell you the truth. That's not Australian, that's English. Nobody in Australia says that crap. It sounds stupid also.
I've heard it. Okay.
Hello part, I agree with. The amount I've heard, g'day mate, and hey mate is a different story though. And, oh God, there's comments under this. And they're bigger than the post. So I might skip that one. They're, some people, I think, go just, this is a year old.
It's not a UK thing. Is that what they said, UK? Well, if it is, it might be, but I've heard it around Australia for years.
No, they just said that's English.
Oh, sorry, English. It's yep, sorry.
So they're saying, oh, hello, mate. I just like the phrase.
I don't know. Does anyone else from other English-speaking countries say mate? I don't know.
I've seen
Can
stuff,
you tell us?
Not on TV series so much, but I've seen stuff on YouTube, and it is sort of spread it out there a little bit more, the whole.
I suppose we're Australians, and we haven't been outside the country, so we hear it in Australia all the time.
You hear it all the time. Like, you can have 20 people in one day say, hey, mate, and it doesn't usually phase you one bit.
Anyway.
So, yeah, I think...
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, you don't usually call your partner mate.
No.
Or a female partner mate.
If you do, you do. Your
and
prerogative,
you know what? I was going to say, that's your relationship.
Yeah, that's
do what you want to do.
Alright.
I think it's time to probably go to the next story. Okay, for our last story of the episode is kind of interesting. It's definitely different. Is mullets history in Australia. Which is an interesting thought on its own, but they have come back recently, mullets. Which, for anyone wants to know, is a hairdo, which was big.
A disgusting hairdo. Oh.
I don't like it one bit.
I think mullets all over the
never
world,
liked it. And
anyway.
Yeah, anyway, we'll get into the story. So obviously mullets have been popular for a long, long time in Australia. But just wondering, were they ever called a mullet back in the 70s and 80s, or only more recently in the 90s onwards? Now, mullets died, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
at the end of the 70s. So even in the
So-
80s and 90s, if you had one, I think, if anything, if you had one back then, you probably got picked on. They sort of were around for a little while.
But it's only
and they
been the
just
last,
died.
5, 6 years they've
Not
come
even,
back?
I
Not
don't
even?
I don't even think 5 years, I reckon.
But they were definitely
I
around
reckon
before the
COVID.
90s.
I reckon COVID brought it back in. Why? Well, I haven't got
No,
an
I think
answer
it
for
was
that.
before COVID.
Maybe just before.
But I'll tell you, they were definitely around before the 90s. I know that much. I've got photos of my
yeah.
bloody dad. You know?
Oh, yeah, but that was back in the 70s.
Yeah, well, that's true.
So,
He
and
was
I think-
born in the 50s, so...
I think my dad's had photos of him back in the 70s. It's the same thing. A lot of people in the 70s, the blokes, they all
I
had
tell
it.
you, my son would never want to sprout a mullet. I really don't like the look of him, but
I don't like him one bit. But
I'll just
you know
cut
what?
his hair off in his sleep. No, I'm not that. I'm not
I
that
say,
bad of a
my-
parent. I wouldn't do that.
I think
But
that's a bit harsh, but yeah. Anyway, here you go. They were called mullets back in the 70s and 80s too. Sure were. Source, am old. So this person's obviously, was around back then and knows in the 70s, and I apologise, I said in the 70s, I thought they died, but obviously in the early 80s or whatever, they were still around. They were called just a mullet.
yeah, I've always known them as a mullet. I've grown up knowing what they are, but they would die. They did die for. You had the bowl head cut and all that going
there's
around
lots
after
of stuff
that.
in between. Mullets back then, they were around, but so were bowl cuts.
Bowl
which is what
cuts,
you're saying.
yeah.
Because barbers were a waste of coin for your kids unless you were some rich family. And actually that makes sense.
Actually, you know what? I've got to admit, growing up, when we couldn't get to the hairdressers or we were having some problems, my dad cut a hair, and because of the type of hair mold, he didn't let me grow it out as much. But when I did want to grow it out, he would cut the top, so it kind of half gave me a mullet, and I hated it. I hated it.
Another comment, I can also confirm, were called mullets back in the day.
They were, yeah.
It's basically, there's a lot of people on here confirming that back in the day they were still calling a mullet. Work in the front, party at the back was common too. They weren't cool, it was a bogan haircut.
That's right. That's the word, bogan.
Yeah.
And
that's
do you know
that's
what?
another story on here by itself.
You come across a lot of reels and YouTube things where these people pretending to be bogans and more.
And they always got a
They've
mullet.
always got that mullet
Yeah,
and
they always got the
pretending
mullet.
that, but it's just fake and that. But yeah, nah. It is bogan.
There you go. I only ever heard it as business in the front, party in the back.
There you go. I haven't heard it that
So,
way. I've only ever heard
no.
the mullet version.
No, it's people just saying, yep. Originally, it is in a Aussie or US hairstyle.
There you go.
So, I think that answers the question.
Yeah, it
doesn't
wasn't
It's
really a
pretty
big
much,
one, was it? We just,
it was called a mullet pretty much from the start.
we just thought we'd have a bit of fun on our episode tonight with a
Yeah.
few different
Try and figure it out.
Australian things and
And they're
see
all
what-
weird, just like Australians.
Yeah. just like us, eh?
Yeah, we're all pretty screwed up in some ways.
Oh, we're not that bad. Come on.
I don't know, some of the stuff we say and the words, the terminology we use is a little bit out there. It's not stupid. I shouldn't say stupid.
Yeah.
It's not stupid. It's
Anyway,
just, I think it's hard for some people overseas from
Well-
other cultures and stuff to grab hold of and understand. It takes them a while to learn what we mean by saying certain things.
yeah.
That's about it, really. It really
Well-
is as simple as that.
Sadly enough, we've come to the end of our episode.
Again?
Yeah.
Alright, guys.
I'll see
That's-
us again.
As I say, that's it until our next episode, and please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time, I guess.
And make sure to throw some comments if you want to
Yes,
engage with the content we read out tonight.
and other stories. If you've got something you'd like us to read,
Yep.
yeah, by all means, just
Comment.
comment and even throw a link or something into something.
And we'll be sure to
And
cover it if we
yeah,
can.
We'll try and cover it and get it sorted.
Alright.
Alright.
See you next time.
See you guys.